bit of a saying, which is only ever employ people who you'd invite to dinner, and that always seems to work in getting a good mix of people around the table. Firstly, about having a really good team behind you and people who are passionate about what they do, and people who think creatively and have great ideas but have the skills to kind of carry those through and deliver results. It's strange. I mean, we do know the beauty editors very well, and you know, all of us have you build kind of different relationships with different people according, I suppose, to how old you are and how long you've been working with people. And over the years, you know, I've been working in the industry a very long time, and I know a lot of people very well. But I think the reality is that the beauty editors are journalists, and if you're delivering, if you didn't know them, but you had a great story to give to them, and you gave it to them in the way that they needed that information, you're going to get the coverage just as much as somebody is who you know, drinks with them every Friday night. They're journalists and they need news stories, and that's what we try and deliver to them. That it's not all about personal relationships, but I think, you know, obviously that can help. I suppose there's a few things. You need to be able to demonstrate that you can do the jobs that you do well, and you can do that on previous work and previous experience that you've got. They need to know that they can work well with you, and that's often a kind of personal chemistry issue, and you know, some people you get on with, some people you don't, and you just have to live with that. That's fine. They need somebody who's going to think creatively about the work that they're going to do for them, and you need to be able to demonstrate that to them at kind of proposal stage. And you also need to, I think, demonstrate an understanding of what their product is about and what their issues are as a brand, and how that fits into the general industry. So I suppose it's about finding a fit on a number of different levels. I guess because I think it's a combination of coming up with, in terms of events particularly, in terms of coming up with a really good idea and then having the attention to detail to carry that through and make that work in the most effective way possible. We know when we're putting events together there are certain kind of core elements that you have to have in place. So we know that we're going to have to give our guests some kind of product information. We know we've got to give them an experience of the product, but we always like to introduce an element of surprise, so that there's something in there that kind of brings a product to life and establishes exactly what that product or that kind of concept is about, but in a clever, creative way which is memorable and surprising. We were really proud of the event we did last year for Nivea, which we won the award for as kind of best beauty PR event of the year, wasn't it? Which was, I suppose, for us was a solution to an issue which we detected, where we did some research and found that beauty editors didn't understand Nivea Visage, the technical kind of brand within the Nivea portfolio, as well as we had hoped that they did. And we decided to take them away and basically reposition the brand. And the objective of doing it was to kind of take them out of their normal work environment and really have 2 clear days with them where we had kind of their entire headspace and there was no distractions, and we were able to present the information that we wanted to present to them in a really different and interesting way, and that's what that whole event was about. Yeah, it can be a challenge, but I mean, what we've done, we've been around a long time as an agency. We've been in business for about 18 years now, and we've built up some really long-lasting client relationships. We've worked with Nivea for nearly 10 years now, and we've worked with people like Remington for 15 or 16 years, and we've basically got ourselves to the position where they trust us as their kind of PR expert, and that's what we do, that's what we know. So for us, I guess it's about building a relationship of trust, so that when we present an idea to a client, hopefully they'll go with us and they'll trust us to make that work. The biggest nightmare is that nobody turns up. That's always I mean, you can spend as much as you want on an event, and you can, you know, create the best event in the world, but if nobody turns up, then it's gone, it's over. So I suppose that has happened in the past, and it's understandable, you know, particularly dealing with media, that they're on tight deadlines and something can come up, and there can be any number of reasons for them not showing at the last minute. But these days we try and minimise that by making it as easy as possible for them. We know which venues work, we know which venues don't work, we can provide transport to get them to and from events, and that way you kind of minimise your risk, I guess. No, we're a PR company that does events for our clients when the objectives of the work we're doing justifies an event. We don't do an event unless there's a really good reason for it. We know that they're expensive to do. We know that they're there's sometimes, as we were just talking about, a certain risk involved in events. And we'll only do them if we feel that the kind of end result justifies putting everyone through that. I've always had a passion for, I suppose, kind of creative things, whether that's, you know, looking or enjoying art or enjoying fashion or enjoying, I don't know, interiors or architecture. A lot of those things interest me. And I've always wanted to paint, and probably 10 years or so ago now, I found a course, an evening course, which just worked for me. It was about a certain way of painting, which I still do to this day. And once I decided, I just never really stopped. And these days I have a studio and I paint. I work in the agency 4 days a week, and I paint 1 day a week in the studio, and as many evenings as I can get away from home. No, that's no. A couple of evenings a week. I enjoy painting as well, and I generally do a kind of solo exhibition every 12 to 18 months. But yeah, I love painting.